Hello! It has been a very long time since I last made a video. It's actually been 9 years. It was 2015, my last video. During all these years, people have written in, so many of you. What happened to you? Why did you stop making videos? Why did you disappear? What's wrong? Are you sick? What happened? So I decided that it was time for me to make this video and explain to you why I disappeared for so many years. My story actually starts before I started the YouTube channel. I was teaching abroad and I started to feel unwell. I didn't really pay much attention to it. I just thought I'd probably start getting better at some point. But as the months went by, I started feeling more and more unwell, and eventually I just took some time off work. I was resting. I thought I might be a little bit better. But my friend said to me, before you go back to work, why don't we just take a coffee in the coffee shop around the corner from your flat? And I thought, that's probably a good idea. So we organized to go and we started walking. As I started walking, I could feel there was something wrong with my legs. It became really quite hard to actually make the steps. And I could feel that my spine was starting to get weaker and weaker. And then each step became the most difficult thing that I could do. And suddenly I just collapsed onto the pavement in public. My friends were shocked. I was shocked. They tried to help me stand up, but they couldn't because I couldn't even stand. They had to carry me back to my bed. And at that point, I realized I had something very serious wrong with me. But I wasn't too worried because I thought, I'm going to get back to the UK somehow. The doctors are going to run their tests. They're going to tell me what's wrong and they're going to just fix me up. Well, I got back to the UK, but it didn't work out that way. The doctor actually told me that I have a severe form of a particular illness, that there was no cure for this disease and also no treatment at all. The doctor said that some people might be sick for maybe 5 years, but the majority are going to be sick for the rest of their life. Hearing this was just quite shocking. Was this going to be my life, that I couldn't step outside or I couldn't work? I'd lost everything. And it might be the rest of my life. I thought, no, this is not going to be my life. It is not going to be that way with me. I will do everything I can to help my body recover. Unfortunately, I got worse. It got to the point where I started struggling just to lift a fork to my mouth. Just that action became very difficult, with pain all over my body and difficulty moving my arms. I struggled to sit in chairs, particularly if there was nothing to support my head. As I got even worse, I had to spend most of my time horizontal. It started to become harder and harder to move any part of my body, even just like my little finger. And as it got worse, I also lost the ability to speak a number of times. It was really shocking to think that the disease could just get so bad. And of course, the really kind of scary thing was that wasn't even the lowest level of the disease. It could get worse than that. So I realized it was something quite dangerous, really, to have. And yeah, it was a tough time, I can tell you. Luckily, I started to actually get better. Incredible. I was one of the lucky ones. And after 1 year, I had 10 to 15 minutes each day where I was well enough to sit on a sofa, use a laptop, which includes obviously using my arms and hands, and to have clarity of thought as well, but just 10 to 15 minutes each day. Now, for most people, that's nothing. What are you going to do with that time? But for me, those 10 to 15 minutes were the most precious and valuable that I had. So I started dreaming and I thought, what could I do with my time? I thought it'd be wonderful if I could create a free IELTS preparation website for everyone. And I would have free practice lessons, model answers, topics, tips, advice, information. It'd be wonderful. But gosh, what a big dream. But you know, there's nothing wrong with dreams. They're good. And to be honest, many big things in life actually start with the tiniest of steps. So I started building this website. Now, of course, IELTSLiz.com is actually one of the biggest websites in the world for free IELTS preparation. But at the time, it started with just 10 to 15 minutes each day. As the months went by, I got well enough to also make videos. Now, I actually remember my first video for YouTube. I set up my tripod and I took my phone and I put it on the tripod and started angling it. But you know, just the effort of putting the phone on the tripod was so overwhelming for my body that I actually just had to stop. It was too painful and I had to film the next day. So when I say that I did things in small steps, I really did. And those first videos were incredibly hard for me to make because I was in quite a lot of pain. I mean, you could see me smiling, but I wanted to enjoy the process. And of course, I wanted you guys to enjoy the lesson. Anyway, as the months and another year passed, I was doing really well. It looked like maybe there would be a full recovery. I was able to go outside, do lots of things. I could make more videos. I could build the website. It was wonderful. But at the end of 2015, which is the last time I put a video up, my health deteriorated instead of improving. And it was horrifying again. I'd been fighting for 2 years already. And then I realized that I had more years of sickness ahead of me. It was a really tough time to come to terms with losing a recovery like that. Since then, I have fought every day, every month, and every year for my recovery, and sometimes even hour by hour. It's been incredibly hard. For the most part, I have not even been well enough just to step outside my home. Each year, I would also start to see some recovery, and then I'd get worse again. And the following year, I would start to see recovery, and it would get worse again. Year after year, it just never seemed to stop. Yeah, it was a really hard time. Unfortunately, that's not actually all my story. I have also, during the period that I've had this awful illness that has kept me so trapped, I've also experienced abuse and neglect. At times, it has been traumatic, and at times, it has put my welfare at risk. Abuse can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter if you're intelligent, kind, successful, competent. It doesn't matter where you live, where you're from, your age, your background. None of that matters. Because the problem isn't with the victim. And you can't stop people's behavior. You know, when I started making videos and my website with all those free lessons, one of the things that I wanted to do was to show you that IELTS actually wasn't that difficult. I wanted to show you how easy it could be if you understood, and I wanted you to build your confidence. I wanted to empower you so that you could reach your potential. Well, abuse and neglect is actually the opposite of that entirely. Abuse makes people small. It crushes them. It breaks them. It hurts them and damages them. And it takes away your potential. If you are someone right now going through abuse, please know it is not your fault and you do not deserve it. Abuse can happen to anyone, and it happened to me. And remember, all human beings deserve support, respect, and kindness. Anyway, I don't want to talk anymore about the aspects of the abuse that I went through. And you've probably realized I haven't even told you what illness I actually have. To be honest, I'm just not ready to share those details yet. It has been such an incredibly hard, well, decade. And maybe one day I'll be ready, but for now, I'm sure I can trust you and that you will respect my wish for privacy on these points. Anyway, I'm sure you have lots of questions such as, am I coming back to YouTube to make more videos? Am I actually better? Well, I am planning to make more videos. I don't know how many videos I can make this year because the truth is the illness I have is still active in my body. And while it's active, it means I am at risk of deterioration. And I'm also very restricted and I need to be quite careful about how much I can do. Now, I know I probably look really well to you, but the truth is that some illnesses are invisible. So I will go slowly and I will probably start with just a few small videos and see how we go. But I can't wait. I have been looking forward to this for many, many years. You know, I never wanted to disappear from YouTube. And I always wanted to make videos for you. I have a list of ideas of all the things I want to explain to you about IELTS. I made this list while I was sick. Every year I thought I might get well enough to make videos, so I was always building my list of ideas. But of course, if you want to tell me things that you want, you just let me know. But of course, you don't have to just wait for my videos. You can also go to my free website, artsliz.com. It is a treasure trove of free IELTS preparation materials. There is so much for you, and I made it for you. So go and have a look and benefit from everything I have shared there, because there's lots of tips and information and advice as well. So please do use that. And now I just want to say, take care of yourselves, have faith in yourself. I'll see you shortly. Bye bye.